The House of the Mind by Thorn. The house looked gray from where I stood, but it was supposed to be a pale, cheery yellow. At least, that's what my brochure indicated. The photograph must have been old, as the landscape and gardens were also more unkept than the photograph, with shrubs huge and lopsided, vines twisting wildly up the walls, and weeds nearly to my knees. At this time of year, I should have been hearing birds flitting about, singing merrily, yet it was all around a dead sort of calm. I could not hear any happy sounds of life, and without that, it felt almost sad. A place of complete abandonment. Even the breeze refused to come near. Nothing to be gained by standing in the garden, I walked with forced confidence to the door. I could see the peeling paint, the spider web in the corner, it too abandoned by its owner. No sign of life, not even a spider. It should have been a comfort, that complete sense of loneliness, but it was more depressing than reassuring. I opened the door, and as it creaked and groaned loudly on its hinges, I stepped beyond the threshold. It was cool in the house, and smelled of musty air and years-old dust. The entry room was empty and old, but not yet in a state of decay. The vines from outside seemed to be seeking entry through the only visible window, their strategy appearing to be brute force in high numbers. I walked through the next room, empty, but for a very large bureau. It was beautiful, ornately carved with a delicate scrolling pattern in dulled metal around the handle. Curious, I tried to open it, but it was locked. I looked around for a key, but if it was anywhere in the room, it had been thoroughly hidden by the dust that I dared not disturb too much. As I walked through the rest of the house, my mind kept tugging me toward the bureau. I kept looking for the key, the need to open it becoming nearly an obsession. I even considered trying to smash the door if all else failed, but I was not yet at that moment of desperation. I resolved to keep an eye out for the key as I continued my tour of this odd house. I walked up the creaking stairs to the upper floor onto a landing surrounded by several plain-looking doors. I opened the first one. It appeared to be only a closet, a very small room with absolutely nothing. I opened the next door and felt a gust of air hit me before I could enter. The room looked empty, but there were a mix of emotions that seemed to assault me physically while I was in the room. The mix of sadness, mirth, grief, and despair tore my breath from my lungs and nearly brought me to my knees. But I quickly grasped the door and pulled myself from the room. As soon as I shut the door, I could breathe again, my heart returning to its normal pattern, and my legs gaining their confidence to hold me upright once more. As I stood on the landing, I began to somewhat lose my sense of adventure. This house had surprises that perhaps I did not want to uncover after all. I felt uneasy now at the prospect of an unexpected and unpleasant unknown behind the door. I carefully opened the next door and felt a measure of relief that nothing seemed eager to escape this time. I walked further in, this room almost also empty, but I heard a noise. The first noise that was not caused by me in this whole place, this whole time. While unnerving, it piqued my curiosity more, so I held as still as I could to focus on the sound. Sounds, as it turned out, quiet, a mishmash, a small hum of many sounds. I tried to focus on a single one, but the individual sounds were all the same level and perfectly mixed. Now as impossible to separate as a cooked stew. As I stepped further into the room, the noises got louder, still mixed, but I could hear some laughter, some sobs, some deep crying, and a sick feeling mixed with almost remembrance filled my stomach. A familiar remembering, but why exactly eluded me. My mind, trying to steel me against whatever was in this room, forced my body back to the door in a convulsing motion. I didn't know what was wrong, but my body seemed to and wanted desperately to leave and would do whatever it took to get me out of there. Once on the landing, I could breathe and feel some semblance of normalcy in my body returning. This house was so strange. I didn't understand what was going on. I became confused. Why was I even here? I opened the next door, holding my breath, and looked into the room. This room was brightly lit, windows stretched all around the room, able to let in all the light possible. It was really bright, though, brighter than it was outside, and beautiful colors, yet not from the paintwork. It seemed to be from itself, a self-contained source of bright light and vivid colors. I began to feel disoriented, unable to see where the floors met the walls. The lights began to swirl and become dazzlingly beautiful, but still so bewildering. I could no longer tell which way was up, or even where I was. I felt suspended in a cloudy, soft air, free to move, but unable to find solid purchase no matter how much I floundered or reached. The lights coalesced into shapes, then pictures, but the swirling light kept them from allowing my eyes to make sense of what I was seeing. In my grasping, I suddenly hit what turned out to be the doorknob, so I pulled harder and felt myself solidifying behind the threshold and back onto the landing. I lay gasping on the landing as the door softly closed by itself, and my lungs tried to remember how to breathe normally again. I wondered if I was going to make it out of this house. At this rate, maybe living was never going to be the same. I turned a slight corner and saw a final door. This door was different than the previous doors, attractive instead of plain, with an ornate carving detail around the edges. The doorknob looked elaborate, but it fit perfectly in my hand, with a cool and gentle weight. I turned the knob with more anticipation than I had felt previously, because such a lovely door with such a special handle must have something worthy behind it. I opened the door carefully, reverently. No loud noises, no gusts of air, no blindingly bright lights, just darkness. Curious, I stepped further into the room, but still held on the handle, just in case. Still nothing but darkness. I let go of the door handle to step in yet further, and then a sudden sense of falling, almost floating down, and I heard the click of the latch catching far above my head. Nothing but soft darkness all around me. No amount of floundering or grasping produced anything. Just a gentle descent ever further into the dark. The thought of that bureau I had seen downstairs suddenly came to mind. With a bit of sad wistfulness, I realized that because I had never found the key, I would not be able to see inside it. It had given me the sense that it was important, perhaps too important for me, as I had not found the key. I still wondered what was inside it, but maybe it wasn't too important after all. The dark was intoxicating. Instead of feeling frantic to escape, to get back onto solid ground, to find the key, I only felt tired. So tired. Sleepy even. Yes, that's all I wanted now, just to sleep. Just for a bit. Just 5 more minutes. Please. I promise I'll dream I'm doing all of the things I need to do.